And I am Anuja Shrivastava, and today I am just going to carry forward the rest of the topic in class 8 physics, and the name of this chapter is heat transfer. In previous video I already taught you about some important topic, but in this video I am just going to teach you a very important topic. So just focus on this video, and the name of this topic is thermal expansion. Now, if you are just going to just see the name, the topic will be clear to all of you. Thermal expansion, and the meaning of thermal, that means it is related with the therm, it is related with the heat, and expansion, that means expand hona. That means in short we can say the expansion which caused due to providing the heat and high temperature. किसी तरीके का एक्सपेंशन अगर हीट प्रोवाइड करने के कारण हो रहा है तो दैट टाइप ऑफ एक्सपेंशन इज नोन एज द थर्मल एक्सपेंशन. और इन शॉर्ट वे यू कैन से द थर्मल एक्सपेंशन, इट इज़ द टेंडेंसी ऑफ मैटर टू चेंज इन शेप, एरिया एंड वॉल्यूम. दैट मीन इफ वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग हीट टू समथिंग, इट विल चेंज इट्स शेप. Okay, so that is the thermal expansion. If it increase in size, that is also the thermal expansion. So this is known as the thermal expansion. And why it occurs? Because of the temperature, because of the heat. So that's why this topic is known as the thermal expansion. Now let us understand it properly. Suppose any material, any substance is there, so why they are going to expand when heat is providing? So since that when you were studied about the chapter matter, you are knowing this. When the rise in temperature takes place, the distance between the atoms also increases. क्यों? Suppose this is the distance between the atom, okay, and we are providing heat, we are providing temperature to this. So the molecules start moving there. So the what happened? They are just going to expand. So thermal expansion is because of the heat, and it is least in solid. Why it is least in solid? Because the particles of solids are very closely packed, and it is highest in gases because intermolecular force is लीस्ट इन द गैसेस. दैट मीन्स जिसके अंदर इंटरमोलिकुलर फोर्स क्या होगा, कम होगा, उनके अंदर एक्सपेंशन ज़्यादा होगा, और जिनके अंदर इंटरमोलिकुलर फोर्स अधिक होगा, ठीक है, उनके अंदर क्या होगा, एक्सपेंशन ज़्यादा होगा. और जिनके अंदर इंटरमोलिकुलर फोर्स इज ग्रेटेस्ट इन सॉलिड एंड लीस्ट इन गैसेस. ओके, नाउ सॉलिड्स, इफ यू आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट द थर्मल एक्सपेंशन इन सॉलिड. Okay, so the thermal expansion in solid occurs through the three ways. It occurs through the three ways. Whatever the three ways are there. First is the linear expansion. Okay. Second one is the superficial expansion. Okay. And next one is the cubical and volume expansion. That means these three types of expansion will be takes place: linear expansion, superficial expansion, and the volume expansion. This volume expansion is also known as cubical expansion. First, in short, I am just going to tell you these three terms. When the solid expands in one dimension, जब किसी एक डायमेंशन में, whether it is right, it is left, जब किसी एक डायरेक्शन में expansion will takes place, only one direction, only one dimension, so that is known as the linear dimension. That means in the proper lining. Okay, when a solid expand in two dimension, when any solids is going to expand in the two dimension, that is known as the superficial expansion. And when a solid expand in three dimension, it is known as the volume expansion. That means in one dimension, in two dimension, and in three dimension. So this is the different three types of expansion in the solid, and let us going to understand the all these three in the detailed way. Okay. So first I'm just going to start the linear expansion in solid. Now how we can explain the linear expansion in solid? It is very easy. Suppose any solid rod is there, okay, and when this rod is going to provide the heat, so the molecules are going to heat up and it is going to expand, okay. So suppose this is the original length of the rod L, and when it is going to expand, it will this much expand, which is known as the delta L, okay. So this is the expansion, okay. So that is showing the linear expansion in one direction, okay. So when the metal rod is heated, its length is increased and the length increase in length, that means the length which is going to increase, that is depend on which topic, on which thing they are depend. So they are depend on the original length of the rod, जो उसकी original length होगी. Then it is also depend on the material of the rod. Whatever the material is there, it is going to expand easily. It is going to take time to expand. And another thing is there, the temperature, the rise in temperature. Whatever the temperature you are going to rise up. So this is known as the there are factors on which the length of rod will be increased. So whenever we are going to measure the object, that how much increment is takes place in that, so that is known as the coefficient of linear expansion. What is that? That is coefficient of linear expansion. So what is coefficient of linear expansion? It is if a material, if increase in the length per unit volume, that means what you can say, it is increase in length divided by initial length multiplied by rise in temperature. That means coefficient of linear expansion, how you can explain it? It is that increase in the length of per unit length. Per unit length जितनी भी increase हुई है, it is per unit rise in temperature. That is known as the coefficient of linear expansion. So the unit of coefficient linear expansion is per degree Celsius, and the SI unit is per degree Kelvin, okay. And we can denote this, the linear coefficient expansion can be denoted by the alpha, and for this you can denote that delta L divided by L into the T. That means what is this? This is denoted by the alpha, and alpha, what is alpha? Alpha is the linear coefficient in expansion in solid. This is change in length, as I told you in the video previous diagram, change in length. What is length? L. L is the initial length, and what is this? This is change in temperature. So if the coefficient of linear expansion of a material is high, the material will expand more. That means jitna bhi if the coefficient of linear expansion will be high, the expand more, the solid will be expand. So this is all about the linear expansion in the solid. Rest of the topic, that means the superficial expansion in the solids and the cubical expansion, I will tell you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Thank you.